Well, good day there, everybody. This is Joe Van Cleve. Look what I have here. This is the final draft of my cold hard type story, and this has been word processed using the template that Richard Polt provided right there. This is the word processed version of my story. I think it's done, and what I have to do now is I have to take my 12 character per inch Royal Quiet Deluxe. I think that's the typewriter I'm going to be using. This is the typewriter that I've named Adobe Rose. She has a nice silk ribbon on it, and I'm going to sit down and try to type this whole thing out in the final version to be submitted for the Cold Hard Type project. And I'm excited about this because I've been working on this story since, I don't know, late November, maybe, something like that, early December, and I have a whole folder full of drafts and notes and revisions and all this stuff. It's been a big project for me. I'm still not entirely certain that, it's worthy of publication, but, well, I think I've done about the best I can do. And as I told my wife last week, one of the ways you can tell when you're getting near to the end of the project like this is when you get sick of it. When you're sick of this story, you don't want to ever read it again or see it again. That's pretty much where, okay, yeah, I've read this thing enough. I'm done. But I'm not done yet. I'm not done because I have to finish the actual typing of this. Well, it is hours later. It is Sunday evening now, and after many hours of sitting there at the kitchen table, I started in the early afternoon and went through to just about dark, and looky here, I have the finished typed piece here of my story ready to be sent off to Richard Polt for the Cold Hard Type project. This little piece here representing months of work and a lot of rewrites, and you know what, I still don't know if it's really a great story, or even, not a great story, but I don't even know if it's an acceptable story at all. So, it's one of those things, though. I was talking to my wife about this, and she was giving me a pep talk because I was lamenting the fact that having done the final typing of the story, I'm still not really satisfied with it. I don't think it's that good. And she said, she gave me a few encouraging words, but I thought, that's true. If I had not have involved myself with this project, I wouldn't have sat down and wrote this. And even if it's not found acceptable for the Cold Hard Type project, the fact remains is that I spent several months working on a story, and I did a lot of rewrites. I did a lot of the mechanics that you might go through in any kind of a serious writing project. Writing, rewriting, backstory, research, doing a lot of thinking, revision. I think it was a real healthy experience, even if the story ends up not being accepted or published or whatever. And I hope that you guys have the same feeling about this. Even you guys that might have submitted a story and it got rejected, the fact that you worked on a story is a great thing, because they say, if they're accurate at all, I don't know, but they say that to be a writer, you're going to have to accept rejection. That's part of the life of a writer. And if you have to go through so much rejection to get to the point where your writing is acceptable, then, well, if you got rejected, then that's one less rejection you have to face in the future, right? That's one way of looking at it. But anyways, I gave it a good shot, and I got about 2/3 of the way through it, and what I thought was a really good silk ribbon on the Royal Quiet Deluxe started to get a little faint, so I had to search around amongst some of my typewriters to find another ribbon that was the same darkness, and I found another silk ribbon that I had recently put on my Hermes Rocket, so I switched the ribbon out from the Hermes Rocket to the Royal and finished it up. So, so there you go. There's the Cold Hard Type project ready to mail off. Whoosh! That's done. So this morning, my wife and I went out to the New Mexico Film Photographers Group meeting, and we met over at the Frontier Restaurant down by the University of New Mexico here in Albuquerque. Anyways, I shot a little bit of footage out in the driveway before we left. Okay, here we are.
This is Joe and Andrea,
Hi.
and we're outside our house on a windy, breezy day, spring day.
Yeah.
A little overhead cloudiness, hoping for rain, testing this microphone to see if there's any wind noise.
And that footage, I was using this new microphone that I recently acquired, and this is a Komika little shotgun mic. It's not really a shotgun, it's a cardioid, super cardioid mic. But one of the things about it that I kind of find interesting is, take it off here. Well, it has a nice little shock mount, but it doesn't have an onboard battery, right? So you have to use the preamps in your camera. The microphone I would normally have used is this Shure Lenshopper VP83, and it's actually a pretty decent mic. The thing about the Shure, though, of course, it is bigger and heavier, and it also has a battery, and you have to remember to turn the switch on before you use it, otherwise you don't get any audio at all, and you have to remember to turn the switch off after you use it, otherwise you'll run the batteries out. So this is a pretty good mic, but this is less expensive, and I'm just curious to see how it works. So I'm going to be testing this mic out in the next few days and weeks. So it comes with a couple different cables. It comes with a standard 3.5mm to 3.5mm stereo mic kind of cable, and then it also has one that goes from 3.5mm to 4-pole smartphone device adapter, so you can plug it right into your smartphone and use it on that. So that's going to be interesting to try out. But anyway, this is just a little microphone that I had picked up, and it's $50, I think, on Amazon. And we'll see if I start to like it. I do like the size of it, and it doesn't, the fuzzies of the wind muff don't hang down into the picture like sometimes happens with this thing. So this, they call this a dead cat, and I apologize ahead of time to all you pet lovers out there. So if this is a dead cat, this would be a dead hamster, maybe? I did a vlog last week, and that had some good responses, and I was really happy about, just satisfied with what I did. And I used this Lumix G7 with this 14 to 42 zoom lens at the wide setting, but it's not really quite wide enough to, vlog unless you hold it way out at arm's length. And so I've been using this little really cheaply made Vivitar wide-angle adapter, and it's really pretty poorly made. It's glass, but the optics aren't coated at all, and it has some pretty poor optical correction. I mean, the off-axis appearance of it is kind of blurry around the edges, but it kind of gives, if you put your face in the center of the image, it kind of gives this what you might call a fake bokeh effect. It kind of looks like it might be out of focus along the edges of the periphery, which kind of simulates maybe a narrow depth of focus look. It does certainly give me a wider view, a wider angle of view at a more comfortable arm's length. So I've been playing around with that. This is only like a $30 attachment. As far as getting a really good lens that's this wide of an angle, I think the next step up, you'd have to get a $500 manual focus, 7.5mm manual focus lens for micro four thirds. And then if you want an autofocus lens that's about 7.5mm, then you got to go up into the high end of the Panasonic line, which I don't feel like spending $1,400 for a lens. So it's a little $30 attachment. It kind of makes the lens kind of big, but it kind of certainly gives me a wide enough angle for vlogging purposes. So that's what I was using last week with the Shure microphone. So, and then to hold my vlogging camera, I was using this ProMaster monopod, and this is in the collapsed position. I'm using a Joby GorillaPod ball head on this. In fact, that's the standard ball head that I've been using with most of my video equipment, is the Joby GorillaPod ball head. I have like 3 of them. It's a small size. It works well enough for these kind of smaller cameras. But anyway, this ProMaster monopod has these fold-out legs, and there's a joint right here that you can tighten up with these 3 set screws, which you need an Allen wrench, and that's why this little baggie is there. But anyway, it enables it to support itself on the ground. and you can extend it out to probably close to 6 foot high. But I use this thing kind of propped up against my torso like this, with the camera up on this end. Let me show you how that works. And I use the ball head, I tilt the camera back toward me, and now I can just kind of hold it with one arm, and it kind of points right at my face and stabilizes against my body, so I can pivot around like that and walk. And it's still far enough away to give me kind of a wider angle of view. So that's kind of how I was using this camera last week and with this monopod. And it looks like it's a pretty good solution, inexpensive solution for now. Yeah, so last week when I went down to the Rio Grande and walked along there, I took this little Yashica mat, or Yashica T4 Super. I was shooting some Portra 160 in it, and I got a couple maybe okay pictures. Let's see if I can do this here. You get the general idea of the composition here. But, you know, it's kind of fun. My local lab is picture perfect, and they do a pretty good job of printing and developing and printing, so that's cool. Okay, well, I've been taking notes in the last few months with my paper roll note holder, this little thing that I cobbled together, and I'm sure you guys remember me showing this to you numerous times. And I noticed a month or two ago I was getting down to the little red colored leader on the end of the paper. I knew I was getting down close to the end, and now looky here, look, I'm running out of paper. Well, the previous roll of paper, if you remember, I had taken that roll of paper and fan folded it. Just zigzag back and forth, fan folded it. And then I bound it, I glue bound it, and made a little cardboard and cloth hardcover booklet as a little record of all of the notes I had taken with that paper roll holder. And now that this roll of paper is about done, and I have another roll in the wings ready to load on here, I can make another booklet out of this. Now, one of the things that I did wrong when I made this one is I didn't mark the places for the folds as I was going, and so a lot of times, like right here, I had to fold the paper right in the middle of some writing. Well, what I did with this roll that I've been using is I marked in pen, like I made a pin line at the bottom of this bracket and then one at the top of this bracket. And then as I advance the paper, you pull it up like that, then you make another pin mark right here, and so you have these even spaced folds that when I make this into a booklet, this one, it'll be like this, but a little bit more even. These pages are a little bit uneven, as you might be able to tell. So I'm going to be working on this in the next week or so, is finishing up this roll and making a book out of it, volume 2 of my note holder project, and then starting, I guess, another roll of paper. I took a break this afternoon after I had started typing up my story for Cold Hard Type. I had actually finished the first page, and I said, okay, I got to relax. I went outside in the courtyard and smoked a cigar, and I basically surfed the internet on my phone, and I actually went on to the Typosphere blogs, and I had been having problems using the browser on my iPhone when I wanted to comment a blog that was on Blogger. If someone, say I have a Blogger account, my Joe Van Cleve blog is on Blogger. But I noticed in the last few months, every time I tried to leave a comment on my phone or on my Mac, it wouldn't save the comment, like I wasn't logged in or something. It had this weird password deal. So I found a way around it today by, when I went to Richard Polt's Typosphere site, I logged into Blogger. In the upper right corner of his website, there's a login button. I logged into my Blogger account through his website. Then I was able to comment all the blogs. So there's been a lot of blogs in the Typosphere in the last month or so that I've really enjoyed. And I've tried to make comments, and they haven't taken, as I said. So now today I sort of sat out there on the patio and I caught up with a lot of the blogs. And so you guys, if you have a blog out there, you might have noticed I left a lot of comments today. That's because I finally figured out how to work around the little whatever it is. Maybe Apple and Google don't like to play together or whatever it is. But anyways, they kick sand in each other's face. But so I figured out how to work around it, and I left a bunch of comments on the blogs, and that got me thinking today about blogs, about typewriter blogs, and how important blogs really are. I think they're the most important form of social media, more important than YouTube videos, certainly more important than Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. I think blogging is really the premier form of social media because it's more permanent, it's archival, it's searchable, and it gives a person an opportunity to write an extended essay, to create multimedia productions, and really to do true writing that is shareable. So I encourage you guys, first of all, if you're not blogging, go start a blog, either WordPress or Blogger or whatever platform you want to choose. Get out there and start writing and let people know about your blog, share it with others. But also, I wanted to thank all of those typewriter bloggers that are out there right now who've been sticking with their blogs. And there's a few people that have gone on extended hiatuses from blogging, and now they're returning, and I welcome you back. But anyways, I want to encourage all you guys out there, keep writing, keep blogging. It's very important. Have yourselves a great day. Stay creative. Until next time, bye-bye for now.